Hey, what's going on, guys? Mike here from Arizona, and today I'm going to cover making an insulated box so you can ship live animals to your friends, family, or maybe you're looking to start a small business on eBay or Etsy and you want to learn how to ship live animals. Stay tuned and I'll teach you the ins and outs of making a box to be able to do those things. So when selecting a box, you want to make sure that you're selecting the right size box for what you're sending. Here at Green Oasis Farms, we sell a lot of betta fish. And we want to make sure that our fish travel as safely as possible, but not really giving them a box that may be too big or too small. So we want to make sure it's just right. I would suggest a 7x7x7 box if you want to ship 1 to 2 male bettas and up to 4 female bettas because of the amount of water and the size of the bag you're going to be putting in the box. If you're going to be sending other things, you may want to look into different size boxes. This is just the basics on how to make an insulated box. This can work with any box. However, this is the ones that I use to ship my snails and betta fish. After you pick the size of your box, you're going to want to get styrofoam. You can find this styrofoam at most hardware stores under garage insulation or just insulated styrofoam. I happen to use a 3/4 inch styrofoam to insulate my boxes. I use 2 different types. Sometimes I use one with a shiny outside, meaning it reflects light and reflects heat. And sometimes I use a thicker sheet of styrofoam that is just the same on both sides because I use 2 different types of insulation in my box. So at the end of the day, the fish still travel safely without that shiny side. So I'm just letting you know that there are several options, but this is the option I'm going to go. Okay, so what you see in front of you is a hot wire cutter. This can cut perfect squares, rectangles. You can even make different types of shapes if you're not looking to do a box, and maybe you want to make styrofoam inserts for possibly a custom DIY background. Now this one is not the best when it comes to sizing. If you really need large boxes made, you're going to want to go with something larger than this or create your own. There are plenty of videos on YouTube on how to make these, but this is the best way of cutting the box, and it's the fastest method and the least messy. So let me show you real quick how I size up my box. So what you can do is you can actually measure your box and then measure it against here. I just like to put the box against the wire cutter and just really line it up with the line here where it cuts. Now I don't want it to be the exact same size, so right now it looks like it's pretty spot on. Actually it's not, so let's move this. Now it's spot on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the styrofoam slightly smaller so it has room to slide on the inside. Now that's just for the tops and bottoms. The sides are going to be offset by how thick the styrofoam is, and I'll show you that in a second. So let me move this over just a little bit just to make it slightly smaller. Okay. Alright, I have my sides measured up and I have the styrofoam against the guard here, and I'm just going to push it forward. Now look how effortlessly that slides through. Sorry for the noise. Styrofoam sometimes makes noise as it goes through. Alright. I'm just going to cut several of these because we're going to need several tops and several bottoms, so I'm making more than one box. So now to make it into a square, our boxes are square, so this way is going to be the same measurement as the other way. So we have a top and a bottom there. I'm going to make several of these. Okay, so now that I have several of these made, it's time to size them up for the sides. So what you want to do is you want to account for the thickness of this. So I'm going to take my cutter and I'm going to match it up with this for the side. What you want to do is you want to stagger these, and I'll show you what that means when we show you them putting the inserts in the box, but you want them to be staggered in a way where it's about this much right here, too short from the wall of the box. So for the sides, you only want to cut once, but for the absolute top, you want to cut twice to account for thickness, because you're going to have the top of the box sitting up here, and you don't want it to overlap in the cardboard part of the box because you won't be able to close your box. And again, I will show you that once I get a couple of these made to be able to make a full box. Alright, so I have enough for the sides and I have enough for a top and a bottom. So let me grab a box. And I'll show you here. So obviously we're going to grab one of the tops or the bottoms and just put it in first. And slide right in. Just like that. Now this is what I meant by staggering. So as you can see, this doesn't quite line up with this side, so now I can just slide this piece in here. Hold on, it's hard to do this on an angle, and it fits perfectly in the corner. That doesn't allow for much air to get through when they're all in there because it fits so snugly against the other one. Let's do it over here as well, and we'll do it on this side. It becomes very snug on this last piece because you cut them just perfectly. Let me push down. You cut them perfectly, and that means, again, it's going to be so snug that not a lot of air is going to be able to get in or escape out. Okay, so it should look something like this when you're done. Obviously, there's not much room in between each, and they shouldn't really wiggle out of place. So now you have pretty much a perfect cooler here. Now, at this point, you could actually just put your fish that's all bagged up in here and put a heat pack or a cool pack that's covered in some kind of insulation, probably a newspaper or something like that. You can do that, or you can actually tape it to the top of your box. I actually take another step. So let me show you. Okay, so the second part of my insulation process is going to be using this green fiber fill. This you can find at most home improvement stores like Home Depot or Lowe's. I believe it's a 30-pound bag, and the exact cost I'm not sure, but I believe it's around $20 or so. I'm not exact sure of the price again, sorry about that, but what I do now is I just take a handful and I place it in the bottom of my box. And I want to break it up as much as possible. This also provides a cushion for the fish. Okay? Now, I don't have a fish to ship just yet because I'm going to get into another video on shipping the fish and what to do to ship the fish. So that'll probably be my next video. But let's pretend like we put the fish in here and we covered the rest up with this fiber fill. The last steps I would do is I would add my cool pack. That would go right on top. And lastly, I would put my top on the box. And pardon me, it's very hard to do this with one hand. Again, this will fit snugly, and you want it to. So now that's on top, and I just close up my box. and then I tape it up, and it's ready to go. And that is how I ship my fish. That is it, guys. You have a great day. I hope this helped you out. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you have not done so, and I'll talk to you soon.